What is up, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning in to this special Monday night edition of CDP After Dark. And we've got a special guest with us this evening, Patrick Koenig. How are you doing today, sir?
No, I'm doing good. No golf today. So I guess I could be doing better, but it's been a little bit without hitting that little white ball around, and I'm starting to miss it a little bit.
Are you like wiped out, like just like golfed out?
No, I'm not. I'm not going. It was kind of a part of me, and so there was never a day where I said, I don't want to play golf today. Not a single day, which is cool. I mean, I love it.
Amazing.
And you just can't. I can't get enough of it. And I think that's a good sign. I'm definitely a golfer through and through. There's not. I can't get too much, which was. I surprised myself a little bit. Playing that much golf, you'd think I'd have been like, no more. But no, that never happened.
All right, so for those that are listening, and I'm sure there's very few of them that actually know your story and what took place, why don't you give us just a quick rundown of what the RGV Tour was and what you just accomplished this last year?
Yeah. I guess it doesn't make a lot of sense without some context there. But the RGV Tour is the recreational golf vehicle tour. So what I did was I purchased an RV and turned it into an RGV, which is a vehicle specifically designed to set the world record for the most different 18-hole golf courses in one single year. So I had 365 days. I had to play a different 18-hole course for it to count towards the number. The number that I was chasing was 449, was the existing world record.
Blew it out the water.
And I started on January 3rd, and on October 17th, I passed that. I passed that mark in Denver, Colorado, at a golf course called Omni Interlaken. And on the 18th green, there's where I became a world record holder. And then I really stepped on the gas. I had a couple, had like 2 months left, and got that number all the way up to 580 different 18-hole courses in a single year. And that's the world record that I set this past year. And it's
that's insane. That is
so thank you guys. Thank you.
Let's go.
That is nuts.
Yeah,
it was a year filled with golf. And like I said, not once did I tire of doing such a ridiculous thing.
Okay, so Joe's got like 400 questions, which we'll slowly just knock them off here throughout doing this. But what's your family life like to be able to just hop in an RV and take off, or career wise? But how do you tell your job, hey, not coming in until next year?
Yeah. So this was my job. I'm a golf course photographer, so it fit in pretty nicely with what I do, which is travel and take pictures of golf courses for a living. And so it blended that in pretty nicely. I got some sponsors for the thing. So it was certainly a job in some regards. Not that I minded doing any of it, because I'm sure you guys got a lot of questions about how logistically I pull this off and all these different things. You'll find pretty quickly that it's a massive amount of effort. It could be classified as work. I didn't really think it was work at all because I love to do it, but I was busy the entire year. And but you think about it, you're like, hey, it's a record that I think will not really be attempted to be broken. If somebody's going to attempt to break it, that would be, I would be shocked to see that. You got to basically say, well, I don't have anything to do next year. So you got a full year. And then, I mean, somebody could do it without an RV. I don't see it happening without an RV because there's a lot of benefits you get from that. So you got to have an RV and then a boatload of cash just to get after this record. And I had all of those things, and plus a desire to just go hard for it. And so I've got a girlfriend who was supportive of the idea. I got some parents, I got a sister that they all love the idea. And that's how I got kind of the stars aligned for me to do such a thing. If I had kids and, like a little 2 or 3 year old, there's no way I'm doing this. I'm like, Daddy's going to go play golf for a year. See you later.
See ya.
That's not cool. It wouldn't be cool to the kids, but in this situation, it was doable, and it ended up being a really great experience for everybody that came along for the ride. Especially I'll always remember this year.
I mean, big time, like once in a lifetime opportunity, like all the people you met, all the courses you played. I mean, you are a golf photographer and you take fantastic photos, right? Like,
Yeah.
love your pictures. And it's
Thank you.
just it's incredible. I mean, the drive to do that, and it's just insane. Like I would love to do it, but I don't think I could physically stand that. I mean, was it
There,
prerequisite to walk each course, or did you ride carts also?
I probably walked about 70% of the
Yeah.
golf.
Holy crap.
That's
You know,
good.
so I walked a lot. I walked if I could. If I was doing 36, I was probably going 50-50. I'd walk one and ride one. And then if I'm just one course a day, I'm doing everything I can to walk it. But yeah, there is a point where I think that where I kind of noticed, and I would just tell myself that, like, this separate, I'm doing a world record. So like when there was a downtime and I could potentially squeeze in another course, 100% of the time I fired up like Golf Now, or like went down the street, found the
knock it
nearest
out.
18-hole golf course and just went and played it. There was no like taking it easy ever. There was not, I mean, there was a couple moments where it's like, I can't get this in, or this doesn't make sense. And then I had some, a couple hours to like, play Words with Friends on my phone or something like that. But, that was more of like a necessity to kind of give myself a little downtime, which is important in when you're doing something
totally.
like that.
Absolutely.
I was talking to a buddy at work today, and I remember being like a kid in the Scholastic like book fairs. Like my first like go-to was the Guinness World Record like book. Is that
Oh,
something like
yeah.
was that you back when you were a kid? Like, did you strive
I think
to be in that?
everybody kind of knows those world records, and the world record is nice, but what I'll cherish is the experience, kind of like doing something that nobody's ever done before, which was one of my favorite moments of the tour. Is that I'm coming down. It's the 450th golf course, and I'm coming down, and the news is there. We're at Denver and Omni Interlock, and the news, like I think it was channel 7 or 9, came out there, and they're interviewing me as I'm walking down like the final holes, and I'm like, dude, this is all my friends are there and everything. It's like, I'm like, man, I feel like I'm gonna win a PGA Tour event.
Yeah.
We're like, what is this like? Patrick, he's like, a lot of guys have won PGA Tour events. Nobody's ever done this before. And I'm like,
where's
oh man,
Jim Nance? Where's Jim Nance? Damn it.
Yeah, man, I get goosebumps thinking, because it's like, that's true. I mean, I'm not getting $1 million of the paychecks that those guys get. But I'm the only person that's ever done this. And that was a cool thing. I got a little nervous and started slapping it around. But fortunately, I made like I think it was about a 4 or 5 footer for bogey, to save bogey after I was greenside in 2, which would have been horrible to make it double. But that was the finest bogey that I've ever made in my life. And made that putt. And then the guys, everybody pelted me with water balloons was the idea.
I saw the video. Yeah.
I saw that
video.
video.
Cool.
Yep.
Yeah. Because the kickoff was water balloons. When the first tee shot, they threw water balloons at me. So I figured we'd finish it with that.
Awesome.
Was there any courses that were like, no, we don't want nothing to do with this, that you wanted to play?
Oh yeah. I mean, there was courses that I just kind of read the room, and I don't even have I never had the privilege to be in the room or the rooms that Shinnecock Hills occupies. And so but I knew well enough that showing up in an RV and filling up half their parking lot probably wasn't going to be like, they weren't going to be stoked about it. And I didn't want to. So what we did was we called up Southampton Driving Range, which is maybe 2 miles or 1.5 miles from Shinnecock Hills, and told him the situation. And the guy there was just like, loved the idea. He's like, yeah, just park the RV in the back in the driving range. You guys can sleep there, and just like, we'll go in the morning, we'll get you an Uber or something. And I'm like, yeah, right on. And so we just showed up, and I played Shinnecock Hills, and I don't know what number course it was, but that was a bucket list to play and see a place that great. And it was just as awesome as I could imagine. We played it in July, so it was prime time, as good as Shinnecock gets. And so I was trying to get a tee time. A lot of people were kind of like, well, we could probably find a way for you on there in October, but July, oh man, everybody's in town,
Yeah.
And well, sure enough, we found a member that was happy to host, and that was a cool day.
I'm sure there was a bunch of members that were willing to host you, but I mean, like before, like how did you trek out the journey? Like where did you start, and did you like really like map it out and try and figure out like a big, there's a big conglomerate of golf courses in this area, I can knock out this many here and then I can drive 10 hours? Like how did that work, like logistically?
Yeah, logistics is the never-ending task that I'm glad is over with. And I want to take more trips, but then I'm kind of like, I know the effort, so I'm just burnt out on planning these golf trips. So what it was, so I basically put together a spreadsheet with different states, and so well, first off, you got to figure out the routing. Like you get a big map of the United States, and you're like, where is it warm and when?
You were like basically a golf course architect at this point. Like you're building a routing.
Yeah, you're building a routing. So you're like, all right, so what can I do in March? Can I go, like, how is Oklahoma in March? I don't know. Turns out you can play it. You'd probably be a little cold. And so I'm like, all right. So I came up with a plan to kind of go across the bottom half of the country, zip through some of those middle states after I got past Texas, and get over to Florida and enjoy a little bit of the warmth. And then I headed up to, this was a little different than I had originally planned, but I ended up headed up to Chicago, then back down to South Carolina, up to Maine, or New York. Then I did Finland and Sweden. This is summer. This is when it's summer, because I wanted the summer months to be on the East Coast, because there was a lot of really exciting golf for me.
So much good golf there.
Unexplored stuff too. So it was like, I want the best golfing weather. Summer, it's game on everywhere, right? It's golf season. Everybody's playing. But you got to pick where you want that to be, because you can't go everywhere. You're going to be in an area. So I picked the East Coast and even did a little journey over to Finland and Sweden. Golf Gamebook was the primary partner and sponsor of the entire tour, and so they had me fly on over there, and I met the folks that were supporting me along the way. I kept all my scores, everything, exclusive social content, and it was fun because people could follow along. People would be like, I get a text, nice double on 12 there, idiot, or whatever it is. And I was like, I
hole on the course.
that people are looking at this stuff. And so they'd see, and a couple of buddies every day, they'd come and see where I played that day. And, it'd be a fun discussion. So that was a fun aspect. And I can't say enough good things about the Golf Gamebook folks. A huge following overseas, and we did our best to put it in the hands of the golfers here in the U.S. And then, but then the routing went back across the country as the colder months crept in, and then I ended up in California, and then made a dash for the finish line up in Chambers Bay. And so that's the first piece of the routing that's big. So you kind of know when you want to be there. Then you have states, and then you have your dates when you're kind of like these weeks that I'm planning to get to these different areas. And then you're like, all right, that takes a while to figure out exactly how you want to do that. Yeah. And I wanted to have some flexibility into it. And then I opened it up, and so people started inviting me, and I get these invitations. And so then I have every state, I list the courses I want to play, courses, that I've been invited to. And I get a list. I start generating a list of courses when I get to these areas. And, obviously some states are big, and so you've got to figure out different areas of Florida. It's not just like there's 2 stops in Florida. You could get lost in Florida. You could stay there for 2 months. So I had to kind of plan that. And then so when I get to a state, then you start picking the dates and say, all right, I can spend 3 days in Orlando, I got to do some Jacksonville, and then I got to get to see Sawgrass. And then, so I would plan, we had a big event, and there were certain things that were like landmarks for me. So I knew I had to be there by this particular date, like Sawgrass. We did
like players.
We did a play day with Len Matisse. We were raising money for the First Tee in North Florida, and Len was running the show there. And so he invited us to come out. One of my followers, John, had seen what I was doing, and he knew Len and said, "Oh, you got to sync up." And so we did a cool thing there. So I was like, all right, well, this is something that's going to be really fun, really cool. It's a great course with Len Matisse, you know, if nothing else. And so I circled that on the calendar. Len ended up being one of my favorite guys that I've met on the tour. He's the nicest guy you'll ever meet. Almost won the Masters. You know, I wish he would have, but you know, I don't know how. I mean, maybe we wouldn't have met that would be my only, you know, worry is if he won the Masters, he would have been much bigger. But he certainly couldn't be any nicer. And he joined me a couple times on the tour, and so that was one thing that I circled. And so I kind of built out around that particular thing. So like I knew we had the trip to Finland when I got to New York, some of the things like that. And that's and then I kind of just filled it in. And like I said, if I had a gap or a day open, I would, you know, just
find something on Golf Now or something
to play, you know.
Did you hit every state?
I did 44. I didn't do a lot of the stuff that just didn't make logistic sense, like Montana and the North Dakota. Delaware got skipped. Iowa was a bummer. I wanted to play a couple courses in Iowa, but I had to move through. I had some stuff I had to get to.
Was it always on top of your mind, like I just got to check golf courses off, or was it like I want to go play this place because I want to play this place, or was it like that doesn't make sense, I need to check this off? Like, was the end goal always in mind, or was it like that course looks really cool, I'm gonna reroute and I'm gonna figure it out?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like I have to just hammer them all out. If it was that way, I would have just stayed in like Florida and played a bunch of junkers, you know. But no, it's about the spirit of exploration. And there were some places for sure that I rerouted a large portion of the tour to speed up. When I found out that Sand Hills, their last day was like October 1st, I think it was. And so I was like, I gotta play Sand Hills. I wanted to play Shinnecock and Sand Hills were my two courses that I was like, I gotta play these two. I'd seen most of the other great ones in America. And so I rebooked it, and that was some drama to get over there. But I ended up, you know, going out of my way to get to that course, and I had that experience. So there's some flexibility there. I mean, it's not, I mean, it's a full year, you know, so it's not like you're just like mad, go. But, you know, you better play a golf course every day, or otherwise that's
it's over. You're done.
Yeah, I mean, you got if you can get 30, you should be able to get 36 in, especially in some of these summer months. I mean, come on, that's easy.
What's the longest? Cool. Oh, go ahead, Dan.
I was gonna say, hey, Patrick, go ahead.
No, I'm waiting. Next question.
Okay.
Go down.
I was gonna say, of all the states you visited, which, in your opinion, which state has the best golf courses you played?
Well, that's I mean, it's California. California's got the best stuff. It's almost like two states too, so it's almost not really
true. Not
it's
fair.
kind of cheating. I mean, and I don't think that many people are going to argue that when you start looking at all that it really has, just the volume of golf, the great golf courses that it does have, you know, Monterey Peninsula right there. But, you know, then you start looking at other states, like who comes in second? Well, New York on Long Island, if you have access to those private clubs.
Yeah, you got to have access. Yeah.
It's unreal. It's unreal. If you don't, well, then New York sucks, because you can still go play Bethpage Black. And it's not like it's void of public courses. But when you throw in the private courses, and that's the case with America,
and they're like close too, because you know when we took a family trip to New York last year, and I was like, just a little bit north of the city of Manhattan, and there's like some gems that are really close together.
Yeah, they're all right there. I mean, you get up into Garden City, and there's Garden City Golf Club right there, and I even played Garden City Country Club. I think I played every golf course in Garden City, which was kind of a fun thing. Cherry Valley is a little gem. Bellport. I mean, these are places people don't know about. Siwanoy, or like Engineers is a cool one there. Metropolis. These are courses that like I played that I thought were awesome. That you know, because everybody's like, oh, Sabonic and Shinnecock Hills and National Golf Links, Friars Head. I played those too, but I was like, I just love digging into the stuff beyond that. And so I've been there. Yeah. Oh man, I got to go back to New York, and I'm never going to be satisfied till I've played them all. And you know, that's the fun thing. It's a lifelong pursuit. This is kind of a you scratch the surface. You
Yeah.
play 580 courses. You're just like, I have
What
There's
else
more.
is there? What else do we got? Yeah,
yeah.
that's the thing. You probably found like some just super hidden gems like that.
Yeah.
I
mean,
like,
they're not, you go into these neighborhoods and these areas where there's people are passionate about their golf. They're not hidden to those people. The local
Right.
neighborhood people,
No, they
folks know what's in their backyard.
yeah.
But on a national scale, that certainly somebody in California like me is not really, unless you're really into golf courses, you're not super familiar with Siwanoy, which you should be because it's freaking rad.
Yeah.
And so that's the joy of this tour, is that if I were to go out there on a trip, I'd be like, oh, I got to play, the big names. If I can, I'm trying to get a couple big names and then throw in these names that I've heard. And that's my golf trip. And that's all good. But there's some real treats that lie below that surface. And that was the beauty of hanging out for a bit and living there and, in my RV, and just, it was all about finding golf courses. That was it.
It's huge. That's huge. I mean, like, I think so. We're based in Las Vegas, right? And we have St. George fairly close to us. And I think it's been in, like, most people don't know about it. I think it's been found out. The secret's been found out, and it's kind of a bummer. But like, the golf courses out there are so sick. Like,
I just
posted like a hidden
something
area of the country
on St. George. And I think it's the dramatic landscape that gets you guys
insane.
So
it's nuts.
Black
they're eye
Desert
candy
is
good. The golf
so
courses are, I mean, from a architectural standpoint, I mean, they're not standout level like there are a lot of other places, but they're good enough, and the landscape that they're in is very
just awe-inspiring,
very attractive. The Black Desert, that new Black Desert you got
so
there,
good. Yeah,
awesome.
Copper Rock is a new one there.
Yeah,
Yep.
Copper Rock's great.
Rock, yep.
And then you're
Sand Hollow.
the Sand Hollow, and what's the McClay kid?
In Encanto or
Entrada.
Yeah,
it's a new
redesign.
renovation.
Yeah.
But fun story about I played there when it was a Johnny Miller design, and the holes, there's a couple holes that go through the lava, and there's one hole in particular that has it had, so I'm playing it, and there's this lava boulder. It's not big enough to even know what it is from the tee shot. So it's kind of like you hit it there and you come and be like, oh, my ball was right behind it. So I took a picture of it and put it on Twitter, and it was like, what do you guys think of this? And everybody thought it was stupid. And funny enough, and David McClay Kidd joined in the conversation. He's like, I think that rock would look a lot better as a bunch of smaller rocks spread throughout the property. And I was like, oh, he wants to blow it up. That's hilarious. And so it's always fun having David join in on a Twitter topic and, give his 2 cents. And,
right.
So we appreciate that. But then it was maybe 4 or 5 months later, it was announced that he won the contract to redesign the golf course. And so when I came back there this past year, that rock was no longer there. And it was, I didn't see any remnants of it, but he spread it around pretty good. And those holes are much improved. They're much more fun to play.
Yeah, it looks a lot better.
He won renovation of the year last year, didn't he, for that? I think so.
Maybe, depending on who you're talking to, but heck of a job turning something that was a little contrived and jammed in, and now into something that has
Johnny Miller special.
Yeah, some shot options. The Johnny Miller was, they gave him a chance to do it. He's like, I don't want to do it. He's got other things going on now, Johnny's got a family and he's doing his thing. But so it was cool to see McClay Kidd put his work out there, and it's always fun to see. That's what's so great about golf, is like, you've got these places, like that place was fun to play before because where it was at, and it wasn't a bad golf course, but it was very limited. Now it's got options to play all over the place. It plays the firm and fast when I was there, and I just thought it was really, really enjoyable. And then the lava holes they were so penal last time and beautiful, but not really fun. And they are now. It's really cool.
I think DMK, like, it inspires like a lot of like joyful holes with some creative like shot options, and I think Dave McClay does a great job in that. But I'm curious, because you've played probably every course architect that we have in America. Like, who is your top notch like golf architect?
They're all I love them. It's hard to say my very favorite, but
It's tough. I know.
I will. McClay Kid is great. He's my favorite out at Bandon Dunes, and it's fun to watch these guys go because then you watched him he did Tethero, which is arguably is freaking hard.
I want to play it so bad. They softened it though, right? Did you play it before and after?
I played. I don't know if I haven't seen it softened, but can't imagine how much they would soften it.
Okay, but I want to get there though.
It ended up softening McClay Kid's approach to golf because then after that he did Gamble Sands, which is like, I mean, the bounces towards the hole almost everywhere you go if you're playing with the head on your shoulders and you know what he's doing. That course is wildly fun and very scoreable. Like you can walk off there. I walked off there with a 69 once, not even knowing I was close to playing 70. Nice. But it's like a lot of people have their personal best there. But I played a lot of Ross, and Ross kind of went up in my opinion. I always thought his courses tended to be plain and uninteresting, and that opinion has changed as I've seen more golf courses. Yeah, there's some really memorable things that he does that make them playable and enjoyable over and over again. And I think early on, as I kind of started playing golf courses, I was attracted to things that would look good on Instagram. I was like, this it looks good on Instagram. Was that sure? That's great. It's certainly part of what is a golf course, but I've gotten a deeper appreciation for golf and the things that make a course really fun and timeless, and the merits of the design stick out to me more. And that's why I always end up with Pete Dye. Pete Dye is my answer to that question. Pete's one of my favorites. Most people hate him because he builds tough golf courses, but I mean, what Pete has done for golf courses in America is bury me in a
bunker. Let's go. Pop bunker.
Should I grab my copy from the other room? Because I got that same one. I never got a chance to meet Pete, and but I love him though. I love that guy. I did see him resting. His ashes are at Casa de Campo on the 8th. Behind the 8th green. And it's beautiful little, like, which would have been a good hole just to put the green by the ocean and be done with it, but he built this beautiful little swale off the back right edge of that green that keeps you honest. So, like, it's a bailout, but once you're down in there, it's a very fun but challenging up and down. And Pete's in the wall, the kind of like just this big swale that goes up behind there, and Pete's in there, and so he gets to watch.
Oh wow!
Get up and down.
No, we gotta go play it. We have to go play.
And right on the edge of the ocean there. So I mean, come on, it's like Pete loved to watch people play. It's a great resting spot for Mr. Dye, and I feel like I know him. I'm sure that I love his designs, and I feel like that's what a contribution to golf. What a man, to give us these treats that will be enjoyed. We'll all be gone, and the people behind us will still be loving them. So that's the beauty of these guys that build these golf courses. And thank you for doing that. If any of you guys are ever listening, that's such a cool thing. It's such a cool thing.
Amazing. We did an event out at Paiute, which P. Dye did all 3 courses at Paiute. Yeah. And so after he passed, Joe and I put together an event. We called it Legends Never Die. And it was we were supposed to play all 3 courses in one day. And to do that out here, it's got to be in the summer. And so we reached out to a lot of people and said, hey, we're going to do raffles. You want to? And we made it a pretty fun event, but COVID happened and they shut down one course. And so we only got to do 36, but man, it was an absolute blast. And so many people still talk about that event for us,
That's where we actually met Dan.
Yeah, that's where we met Dan.
Yeah.
That's
my jam. Love it out of Paiute.
Yeah. Oh, it's good.
So, hey, I got a question about architecture and design, and because you said a couple things about how some courses can be just kind of a little basic, but the setting makes them amazing. Yeah. So if you were to take a course like Pebble Beach and put it in the middle of Nebraska, does it have the same appeal? And vice versa, could you take a course that's basic in Nebraska, throw it on the coast, and it's Amazing. Because I've heard some people say Pebble Beach is only great because of where it's at, not because of the course.
Yeah.
And
Well, Nebraska's probably a bad example from what I think trying to do, because I love the landscapes in Nebraska. If you talk about sand hills, and I think it's one of the most beautiful places you can play golf, aside from the ocean. But that's a good point. So it's, and I used to think, it shouldn't matter, but like, hell yes, it matters. It's a big deal about where we play our game. It comes from the origins of our game. Our first golf courses were built on the sea. That's why they call them links. It's right there. It links the sea to the town, and it's and so there's something magical about playing golf next to the ocean. And so the way I look at golf courses is like, that's one aspect of how you would evaluate a golf course, right? And then there's other things too, as the routing, the shot options, the challenges, and things along that nature that you have to assess as well. And I think a golf course like Pebble Beach does have a lot of really great things going for it, that if you were to take it off the ocean and put it inland into a rather uninteresting environment, it would still be a good golf course, but it's not going to be Pebble Beach anymore, because you remove a big part of what makes it special. I mean, like,
you remove the beach.
Yeah, it's just pebbles,
Yeah.
and the eighth holes, is not going to play. That second shot's not going to play over that grand precipice there. If it's just a hill, it's still a good hole, but it's not going to have that same sort of feeling. It's not going to have the history and all these things that, like, people love about Pebble Beach. And so, I mean, it's still going to be a good golf course, but it's going to lose that certain magic something that it has. And but you can find great stuff in I would say that Sandhills in Nebraska is a far better golf course than Pebble Beach. For a number of different reasons. That it doesn't have any of the ocean, but it's got these beautiful, just natural landscapes out there in the Sandhills, and those holes are marvelously created. Every single one of them is very unique and just filled with character. You would think that just hills through hole after hole through the Sandhills it might be repetitive, and no, it's not. And that's my favorite course from the tour, as you might have guessed. I've already mentioned it.
Sandhills. Okay. Did you get to play Landman?
I did play Landman. Landman's up there too. I tell you, there's 3 courses I played in Nebraska. I played Landman, Caprock, and Sandhills, and all 3 of those are my top 5.
Across the country.
Yeah, that's 5 out of 580. So Nebraska's got some jams.
Wow.
You're going to see a lot of golf being built in Nebraska, because there's a lot of land that's perfect for golf, and people have the theory of the formula has been proven to work now, that people are going to travel wherever it is if golf is good enough and interesting enough. And that's what they want. And so now it's like, thank you to
shout out Mike Kaiser.
It started with Sandhills. Because Sandhills did it first, and they proved that you could go to this place and people would sign up for memberships and do it. And then right on the tail end of Sandhills came along Mr. Kaiser, who man, he put the nail in the coffin, and that was the biggest development in golf and golf architecture, I don't know, in the past 50 years, I might say. Such a massive leap to bringing back, ushered in an age of all the new architects, right? And gave them all the place to prove their chops, right? Everybody, the big names in our game is got a course at Bandon Dunes at this point. And so
before we get into more Bandon, because we're gonna have some Bandon questions for you.
Okay.
Steven from the Golf and Dad's Tavern is asking on Instagram, what's your favorite course in Central Florida?
Ooh, Central Florida. The only one that comes to mind is Stream Song. Then you got 3 good courses there, so you could argue about those 3. And I would probably the Blue, I think, is maybe got too much stuff going on there for me to give it the love. Some really good creative work there from Doak, though. Red is always the right answer, but I love that piece from Hans there with like a lot of the throwbacks to some of the the punch bowl hole and some of the big bold landforms he used there. So I'd probably go with the black course out there. And I think they're building a new shorter par 3 or something I read. But
Well,
yeah.
I know they have the gauntlet. Oh, that's the putting green, and then they have what's the one that's just it's like 7 holes, but they share a couple greens. It's right by the black clubhouse.
I don't know. It's been a bit.
I think Cabot Citrus Farms might be coming for Stream Song pretty soon.
Oh yeah, Cabot's good. I haven't been there yet. They just opened that, and
Monday. I think it was Monday. I think it was today. I think today was opening day. I mean, Kyle Franz, fucking that dude is he's up and comer. So
yeah, there's a lot of good guys like that, that do really good work, and they, most of them. I mean, if you do the math, they come from Pete Dye, one way or another.
One way or another, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so Bandon, we're going back to Bandon in August.
Cool.
How many rounds did you get there on the tour?
Got them all. There's 5 courses. 5 courses. I didn't play the preserve because it wouldn't have counted. It needs to be 6,000 yards. But I played them all, and boy, I love that place, man. It's there's really no arguing when I say that it's the very best golf resort in America. And I've been to every golf resort of substance. I haven't been to a couple. They're the new ones that are kind of coming up. But there's no way that anybody jumps in and takes the lead from Bandon Dunes. It's just there's too much good golf. I mean, too much great golf for anybody to even come close. In the position they hold now with the lot of the amateur events, the USGA putting some events on there, it's just further solidifying their place as just one of the greatest places to play golf in the world. And they were part of my first tour when I did it in 2018, and I love them. And they had me back with open arms for the world record, and they were kind of like the penultimate stop right before I went to Chambers Bay to finish it up.
All right, give us 1 through 5, your rating. Everybody, and we say this about everything. There's no wrong answer to this.
Yeah,
totally.
But everybody's got their own.
Bandon Dunes is that even if you didn't know what you were talking about at all, and no experience, you could name any 5 in any order, and you'd
be like, you're right.
That's good. That's right.
Yeah,
yeah. That's just that. I draw the same sort of thing when I talk about Pine Valley, because you could say what's the best hole at Pine Valley, and any of those answers is going to be a pretty good one. But we'll get back to the question at hand.
The fact that you've played Pine Valley is impressive, let alone what's your favorite hole.
That's a whole nother conversation. So we go to Bandon. The original course by David McClay Kidd is been my favorite. It's changed over the years. So it's changed. Every time I come back, there's like a little jostling. Right now it's Bandon. Trails has been moving up for me. I used to think it was kind of like the hipster answer because everybody likes the courses on the. It's like, Trails is my favorite. It's like because it's not on the ocean.
Well, Trails was underrated before. That's why people wanted it was
a little contrarian answer. But the more I play it, the more I love it, which is everything out there. The only one that's never been in the pole position for me is Sheep Ranch. Sheep Ranch has never been one. So we'll go Bandon, Trails, and then Pacific. I always think Pacific is just such a. I mean, people like to hate on it sometimes. I don't know why, because I think it's because it's
so good.
It's so good, and it's so unusual.
It'll eat you up.
Back 9 is like, I don't even know. There's like 5 par 3s or something ridiculous. If you look at it, you're like, but you don't even notice because you're just like, hey, I'm playing great golf holes one after another.
That's
and then you look and you go, that was unusual, but I didn't mind it one bit. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And so that's I think a real testament to Pacific. And then we've got then I put Sheep on there, and then Old Mac moved down. I don't know why they're so good. It's like I feel bad putting Old Mac at the bottom.
Yeah, that hurts.
That place. Anybody at the bottom is always like a ripoff. Maybe we'll do. I think Old Mac and then Sheep. We're gonna flip flop them. And Sheep is an amazing golf course for that piece of land that they've got there. It's like they've done such a fantastic job of getting even just 18 holes on that thing.
Yes.
That
Yeah.
it's from a routing perspective, it's going to win the routing award all day long and the view award all day long as well, because it doubled the number of holes on the ocean when they built that. I think I don't know, there's like 7 or 8 holes on the ocean there. And that doubled the number of holes on the ocean for the entire resort when they built Sheep Ranch. So really, I like that place. It was a fun story about Sheep Ranch is having been in the golf industry for a bit now. I've had some really cool experiences, and
come on.
I've got a chance to. I saw it when they were building it. So
Did you play it before?
Oh yeah, when it was the sheep.
When you had to go to like the liquor store and get a tackle bar in, or
and you just go out and you hit your ball around, and it was a different thing. But then the story that I'm talking about was once they had purchased it and were transforming it into what it is today. I was out there walking around and it's all covered in sand, and they're pissed off because the wind blew. They shaped the greens, and then the wind blew all their greens down into the fairway. Because that's the problem with people don't realize it's like they shape them in sand, and if you're not wet, the wind will just blow them away. So they had some wind that just wiped them down in the fairway. So they were pissed about that. But one of the shapers for Cora Crenshaw is out there, and he's shaping the 3rd and 16th green, which is one of the greatest spots in Bandon, one of the greatest spots on to play golf, and will be known for some time. And so I'm like fairly cognizant of what is happening here. I'm like, this is a moment. Like, this guy's shaping this green. It's going to be enjoyed for hundreds of years.
That's so awesome.
Like, cool, man. So I'm just like watching him, like, oh, it's going down. This is history, right? And I'm just eating it up. And so I'm talking to him, asking him questions. It's like, how are you going to make it so, like, when people are hitting their shots into the 3rd hole, somebody skulls one that, like, it doesn't beam people in the head. He's like, that's kind of what I'm trying to think right now. He's like, you know what? If you got any good ideas, you seem to know what you're talking about. If you want to, draw a line in the sand, and if it's good, we'll use it. I'm like, are you serious? You're like, you awesome. They're like, yeah, dude, a good idea is a good idea.
Right.
And that's how Cora Crenshaw operate. Somebody comes in and has a good idea. They're not going to ignore it just because it came from somebody else. And I was like, wow, that's how you get great golf courses, because your guys building these places, they know. And obviously everything's got to go through them, and they have kind of a final say on it. But like a good idea, let it rock and roll. And unfortunately, I didn't have any good ideas for him. He was already on top of it, and so I missed my chance to leave my mark. But
I think that's what's really, really cool about like the new architecture wave. Like, I've heard that about Doak. I've heard that about Hans. Like, if a shaper has an idea, they're like, do it, and then I'll check off on it. But like, if it's a good idea, do it, and I think it's like a collaborative effort, and I think it's making really good golf courses now, and that's what I love to see. I wish you would have you should probably just put like a Nike check or something. Just did something on 16, like keep my ball up right here because I usually hook it or cut it or whatever.
Yeah, they did a pretty good job with some of the swales and the efforts and runoff areas. I was just looking at it. They came back again. I was like, oh, this is well done.
Joe and I played the Solstice a couple years ago, and so this is Joe's first time on property, and so we played sheep one day, and it was like 30, maybe 20 mile an hour winds.
It was more than that.
Oh, no, the first time we played. Okay. And then our last round, and Bandon in the afternoons is when the wind comes. So our last round was on Sheep Ranch for the Solstice, and it was like 50 mile an hour gusts.
Yeah.
And 45 mile an hour sustained winds. Yeah. I hit driver on 16.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. I swear, I've never had a better time in my life, man. It was so much fun.
It was incredible. I mean, and you're just getting, because the wind here in Vegas is different. It's a painful hurt wind, and the wind up there is just kind of annoying, but it doesn't like mess you up.
It's euphoric. It's energizing.
Well, the courses are built to to play in the wind.
Yeah.
So it's designed to be windy. In Vegas, it gets real windy. You just start hitting into houses and stuff, and it's like it's not really
Solar
what that's
panel.
about.
Hey, so Jeremy's joined us.
Yeah, I'm so sorry I'm
hopped on.
late. I was looking forward to this, so I apologize.
Well, you're here now, Jeremy. Welcome.
Yep, thank you.
Do you got any questions off the top of your head?
Dude,
No?
I followed you for so long. Like I was looking back, and I think 2015 is when I followed you on Instagram.
Yeah.
And just
Hell yeah.
so I'm a longtime listener.
That's
yeah,
I
enjoy it.
was
First time caller.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's 2015. I was not a professional photographer at that point. I'll happily say that. I was just an enthusiastic golfer. And boy, I posted some duds back in the day, but then I also posted some home runs, and that's where I learned from. So thanks.
It was the high
thanks
kicks.
for sticking
The
with
high
me,
kicks gets everybody.
The high kicks. Very
High
memorable.
kicks. I mean, there's worse things to be known for on the internet.
Yeah.
I happily dole out a couple of them, and it's always fun when I come out to like an 18th green or something, and somebody. So where was it at Oakland Hills? Somebody was like, "Let's get some of them high kicks." It's from like the balcony. Somebody's having dinner or something. They recognize me. That's cool. That won't get old. Really fun to that's what the Instagram is about, is like bringing the community together and enjoying what we love. And that's what the tour really excelled at, is kind of providing a vehicle for that to happen.
What's the longest time you went between rounds?
So there was not a day off, so to speak. When I was in the zone, there was a couple times where I would maybe almost 24 hours, or you tee off in the morning, get done at like 10 or something, and say something, you travel, and then I didn't play till the next afternoon. So that's the only thing. But there was a one break where I'm the photographer, or one of the photographers, I should say, for the Tiger Woods Invitational in Pebble Beach, and I'm hired by USLI, who's the title sponsor, to come out there and take photos. And they invited me. I'd done it once previously, and they invited me again back to come and do that. And I was like, "Oh, I'm doing this world record thing." It's like, but it's Tiger Woods. And so I said, "All right, I'll do it." This is the only thing I cleared my calendar for, to do that. And boy, I was glad I did, because it's always so much fun. You hang with the big cat a little bit, and then they liked my photography. And right after that, they invited me back for next year. So
that's awesome.
Nice. It was a good decision. I lost 6 days there, where I didn't get to play golf for 6 days. And those were the only days I didn't play golf. Every other day I was like, "Oh, I gotta get back on it." I remember I came back and played Castle Pines in Colorado. And I was like, my game felt weird, because I'd played like 280 some days in a row. And then
took 6 days off, and you're wrecked.
6 days off, and it was like a year. I was just like, "Oh my God, I don't even know where the ball is going." By the back nine, it was starting to come back. And then the next day I did 36, and I was off to the races after that. But it did feel like a long time.
Man.
How many miles did you put on the RV?
35,000, just under 35,000. So not as many as people. I would have people guess, and they would always guess like 50 or 80 or something absurd. It's not, because like sometimes you drive around the entire country, but like I'm not driving that much every day. I don't drive 2 hours every day. I'll sit there for Bandon, I was there for like a week, not going anywhere. Like 4 or 5 days. So there's some concentrated areas where you can kind of hammer out a bunch, like Palm Springs and Scottsdale. You don't need to drive a whole lot to play a lot of golf.
And you only had like one breakdown, right? I feel like I was following it, right?
I had one breakdown per day for the first 30 days.
Damn used RV.
We had I wish I should have the list, but if I go through the list of things that broke in the first 30 days, the air conditioner, the water, the stairs, the door, the electronic stabilization things on there. Those were all important things that broke. And it was just like, one after the other. And there was one moment where I wake up and I'm like, I'm going to go to Fort Worth. I got to drive to get to, and I got a tea time or I don't, somewhere in Texas. I had to drive, and I go to take down the stabilization jacks, and just like all these alarms start going off. I'm like, what the hell happened? I don't even know what it was. We chased it back to like it was a big electric component thing. We had to change out I forget the name of the whatever it was. Maybe I blocked it from my mind, but like, and so I had to get a guy out there. He comes and he fixes it. We had to like manually jack this thing down or up so I could get my wheels on the ground and drive. And I'm like, all right, we got this fixed. I'm like, it's up. It's still broken, but like, I'm just not going to use it. Oh, all right, away we go. So I go up and then I step on the steps to like get in, and the steps just rip clean off. And I just remember, I was like, "Mother!" And I just fucking just yelling in the parking lot. Piece of crap. It's a brand new RV. That's the thing. It's not like I bought it.
Yeah.
It was a brand new RV. We bought it because we figured things like this wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, totally.
Fortunately for me, everything broke, and that was so. I kind of learned out what happened. It makes sense. So 2020, the pandemic comes along. Everybody wants to be in an RV, creating unprecedented demand for RVs. And so the RV people are like, let's cash in. And they just start slapping them together, right?
Yep.
It hastily putting these RVs together. And every single problem that I had was traced back to like, oh, they could have just done this and it would have tightened this thing or done this or like not hammered this nail into this wire. Then I wouldn't have to deal with that. And it's stuff like that. So it's like it was part of the journey, but there was times where I was like, it was expensive to fix these things too, especially to fix them on the fly. Shout out to Golf Gamebook. They never lost faith in the whole process. And right at the beginning, I'm like, guys, the stairs are gone, the AC is off, we're getting locked up on things, and they're just
sleeping on a slant.
Oh God, yeah, I mean. Anyways, some things didn't break. The slide outs never broke. I was deathly afraid of those slide outs snapping off. That would have been real bad. Those things stayed strong. Shout out to the slide outs, and the engine in there was new. And so nothing horrific happened. I did rip I wouldn't say that. I ripped the exhaust off the bottom of it in the parking lot of Indian Wells, which was my problem. And I don't know why it was the tailpipe was kind of sticking out. If you can go on Twitter, you can see I had to hire somebody calling while I'm playing the golf course, to get somebody out there to fix the exhaust, because I don't really know what's wrong. I know that it's mangled underneath the RV. It ends up cutting off the exhaust. And so I'm driving around with the exhaust. It's loud as hell. With the exhaust in the living room. I'm just like driving around, just like I'm on a hot rod. This thing is like sending everybody, including myself. I'm driving. I'm like, this is insane. From course to course. And then I found somebody in Palm Springs to do some exhaust work. Only one guy in Palm Springs that did it. And he was free within the next couple of days and it got a nice little chrome tip on the end. So it was like, not cheap,
there you go.
Nice.
Crap like that's just, little fuel to the fire. You're already trying to do 36, and now you got to deal with an exhaust pipe, which is not small, and you have an RV in your living room.
Did you keep stats of everything golf wise? Like birdies, pars, golf balls used?
If people want to get into it. There's you can get into all the goodness on the Golf Gamebook app. It's it's all there. It's every single score along the way, every missed. I can tell you how many times I missed a fairway to the left, which wasn't off. I was pretty good with the driver. Driver was dialed. I mean, what
was your average score? For
77.
Oh, baller!
Whoa.
Pretty good. It's pretty good.
So what did your handicap start at, and what did it end at when you were finished?
It went 4 to scratch. Essentially.
Oh,
yeah. I was at like plus 0.2.
And that's a traveling index,
right?
That's
that's
not the local club index. That's hey, I'm a scratch anywhere in America.
That's playing in everything from like 7s to 13s and all the grasses, fescue, Bermuda, rye, bend, all these things.
Zoysia.
And I'm playing in bunkers that are, have 1.5 inches of sand to no sand.
Yeah.
Surprise, you're getting off of concrete. So that's what's kind of fun about it is I got really good at dealing with all the different
Interesting.
things.
Yeah, I didn't even think about this until right now. Like you saw everything, and you
Everything.
probably became a better golfer. And I preach this all the time. I'm like, you need to don't belong to one place. Go play everywhere you can because it's going to make you a better golfer. Play in the wind, play in the rain, playing this, playing that, because it's going to make you better in the long run. And
Sure.
you did that.
I did exactly that. There was nothing that stopped me. If it was raining
Yeah.
or windy, I was like, I didn't like it when it starts raining because I'm like, I'm going to play in it no matter what. And I did. I had some good fun in some of those sideways storms.
Did you ever have a round that you couldn't finish?
There's one. My only weakness is lightning and snow.
It's a good weakness to have.
We woke up to snow one day, and my buddy who's traveling with me at the time was like, "We're not playing golf today." I was like, "Fuck, we're not playing golf today." And we get up, and I was like, "Oh, it's snowing." Well, we're gonna have to drive. We're gonna have to drive down this hill, and we found a golf course down the bottom of the hill that was, no snow on it. So we solved that one. But Tamarisk, not Tamarisk. Yeah, it starts with a T. There's Taconic and Tamarisk, and then there's another one it sounds like those. It's not those because I'm looking at Taconic now, which is one of my favorites. But outside of is in New Jersey, and we played the front nine, and then the lightning came, and we couldn't get that back nine in. I already done 18 the morning, and we had time to get it in, but it was lightning, and people that, especially like Florida, will know this, that when it's all automated, it's not like the guy in the pro shop saying you can't play. It's
sirens.
It's done by the service that basically puts a horn out there that if once it strikes, the horn sounds, everybody's got to get off the course. And then if there are no strikes after 30 minutes, you can go back out and play. But every time another strike happens, it's detected in the area, it resets the counter. And so we're sitting there waiting for we'll watch it get down to like 10 minutes and then another strike. Like, oh,
that sucks.
We're plotting ways. We're like, I'm just going to go out in the back nine, just book it around the back nine. We're like, going to break the law here. And then we start like walking out. We're like, maybe, and then they were like, it's shut down. It's closed. And we're like, okay, this is not going to happen. And that was the only, which is something, right?
That's
is the only
crazy.
round.
Yeah.
There's
I thought for
definitely
sure there would be like
times-
3 or 4.
Oh, there was another time where at Ballin Isles where it was like I was walking to the parking lot because I was like, this is never going to go. The lightning thing it looks too bad. And then as I'm walking to the parking lot, the alarm to come to literally everybody there had left. The cart guys were like, was that the alarm? Can I go back and play? And they're like, yeah, dude, you can go play. You might get it in. And I had I don't know, I think 11 holes left to play. And I played those 11 holes in 40 minutes. And
Nice.
Got it in. Yeah,
got it in.
That was a good day because it was it would have been really good if it went as it planned because when I showed up, they had put me on the tee sheet with Brad Faxon. And I was like, you're playing with Mr. Faxon. And I was like, Brad? And they're like, yeah. I was like, sweet, let's tee it up. And then the whole rain thing came and they went they gave up like everybody else, but not I. I got in 18 holes that day or 36. Yeah,
that's awesome.
You are a true soul golfer, my friend. What size t-shirt do you wear or hoodie do you wear? I might have something I gotta send you.
Oh, I've got I'm like a medium or large. I think I can do.
Okay. I'm gonna message you and I'm gonna send you something. All right.
All right.
Joe's our resident soul golfer.
I'm a soul golfer. Do you consider yourself a soul golfer?
Yeah, I mean, it's part of my.
I feel like I've coined the phrase, right? Like a soul golfer is like, I don't necessarily care about score. I care about the moments. I care about spending time with friends. I care about experiences and the moments. And hitting
unless
really
there's
cool
money on the line.
And I've developed into a soul golfer. Absolutely.
Yes. You gotta clip that one, and we're soul golfers, man.
So so this is a prerequisite. This is a prerequisite for becoming a soul golfer. Have you cried on the golf course?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh, hey.
So I cried first time I saw number 16 at Bandon Dunes. I cried when I saw that hole. Where did you cry?
I did not. I made a cry because I was my score at that point the first time I saw it. I've had a couple good reactions. and I've been fortunate enough to get some inspiring spots. But the one that got me was the when you come across, you're playing Cypress Point, and you come across, the 18-mile drive there, or 17-mile drive, and then you walk over, and you see 15 there, and the birds are there, the waves are crashing. I just started laughing. It was so insane. I'm like,
why am I here?
Come on,
I
guys.
can't believe
Come
this is
on.
happening right now. Yeah.
Like,
Why
we're
do I
playing
deserve
golf
this?
here. Like, this is an unbelievable place just to like hang out. You'd think this is some sort of Shangri-La. But we can hit golf balls to that freaking green. It's like, it's just like, oh my gosh. And that's not even the 15 is just like getting warmed up, because then you get to go play 16 and 17. Oh, you're out of your mind. That one's really
big
inspirational.
tearjerker there.
That's the one that'll get you. And then then everybody remembers the first time you saw Amen Corner, if you've been to the Masters or actually played the golf course, which is much more rare.
No, have you played it?
I haven't.
No? You working on that?
I'm going for my goal is just to play the top 99. I'm not even aspiring to get out there. It's out of, I've seen it. I played it in my head, and I'm going to count that good enough. And if I leave this earth without playing it, I'm totally fine with it. But there are a couple that I certainly want to play. I still got I think I'm at 94, depending what list you're counting at. But I've got a handful of on the wish list. I didn't check them all off. I'll never run out of them. Peachtree's at the top of my list now.
Oh, Peachtree looks so sick.
Yeah, I've got
that's in Atlanta, right?
Yeah.
Atlanta. I've got a tee time at Peachtree already. Or at least a buddy's trip. We're gonna hit some gems.
If you need one, I'll fly out. Just let me know.
Yeah, it's full. It's full. Yeah, I glommed on. I was like, I snuck. And they were telling me about the trip, and I'm just like, dude, you need me to come? Yeah, you need an extra guy? Oh, you're in. Oh, okay. So
Peachtree that's like the
it looks so good.
Yeah.
It's kind of one of those two that they're real low key. They don't,
really low key.
You're not taking pictures when you're out there, but you're just enjoy the round, I don't think, and there you don't see a lot of pictures because they're just not out there, and they're not that's not what they're about. It's about them. But I've talked to Augusta National members that say Peachtree is a better golf course.
I believe it. Yeah,
Whoa.
I believe it.
Wow.
And but I've played better golf courses than Augusta National. I don't know if I'm qualified to say that, having not played Augusta National. I better keep my mouth shut. But there's a consensus. You look at the rankings, and they kind of are coming a little bit more in line with the new school of thought. And Augusta's like 7 or something like that.
I think it's more about the experience and the nostalgia of it. It's not
Don't get me wrong. I know what.
Yeah,
the magic at Augusta is legit. I mean, it's real. It scores off the charts in that particular that feeling is like, how are you going to play 16? You can say whatever you want about 16 as a golf hole. I don't think it's very special at all when you look at how many courses have that type of green and that hole. But when you start thinking about Tiger Woods chipping in, that moment, you're like, dude, this is as special as it gets. So it kind of that history and watching those on TV transforms that place, especially. And it's still one of the best golf courses in the country. That's the thing. It's like when you start talking critically about these golf courses, I love them all, and I think they're all fantastic. But if you're gonna figure out what separates National Golf Links from Shinnecock Hills, like you might have to say something that's not glowing about a place that is one of the best in the world. And that's, don't get me wrong. I'm thrilled to play every single one of these. And I always tell people I've never met a golf course that I didn't like, but some I like more than others.
And that's the thing. It's like you have experiences in different courses, and there's different vibes and there's different moments. And it's like, you could have aced somewhere, or your homie was drinking a beer and then he like nailed one and chipped one in. It's just like it's so creative, and that's what's so cool about golf is like everywhere you go, the course is created for you, or there was an architect that built it out of the sand, and every experience is very unique,
Yeah.
and that's
Speaking of
what's so
aces,
good about golf.
did you have any aces?
I'm aceless. As I stand here, lifetime aceless. I should have 3 is what I should have. But that's, whatever. Given my skill level and just sheer number of attempts.
That's what I was thinking. Like, you should have had by now.
I
should
would
have
have. Yeah, you should have one.
I've
That
got some good non-ace stories. I had one when I was, and this is one of many sob stories. In my first one, that it was in high school. It was a high school match, and we're playing in the wind. And I grew up in Indiana, and it doesn't get particularly windy all the time, but this day is real windy. And I remember hit this 7-iron. I was just like an idiot kid, just hitting. I had this 7-iron, just bombed it like way up in the air on this like 100 and some yard hole, and it comes straight down into the hole. Goes into the hole, and we didn't really realize what happened. It popped straight up, and so we get up on the green, and there's pieces of the cup all over the place, and we were like, oh, it landed in the hole and bounced out, like directly out. I don't even know.
Oh.
I've never seen anything like that happen. I don't even know how you do it, but I did it. I smashed up that cup, and that was a dumb one. I've had 2 that I
brutal.
where they're like on the edge, and I just blew them in. That was a 1.5 on the scorecard.
1.5 exactly.
Yeah, there's some dumb ones, but how many edges have I burned? I do know that I put a dozen golf balls inside of 2 feet on this tour alone, and that's kind of the mark of like if you hit it to 2 feet, that's the skill mark, right? I don't care how good you are, you're not dialing it inside of 2 feet. Maybe if you're Tiger in his prime, but the rest is a little luck, and even if you do take the world's best iron striker, Tiger Woods, in his prime, he went like something like 17 years without getting a hole in one. So that should show you how much.
Hey, I have one, and I'm terrible. So it's luck. You gotta have some skill, but it's so much luck.
There's a lot of luck.
Fun about it, man, because it's like anybody can get them, and it's sometimes
it can happen any day. It can happen any day, any round, any shot.
It's lightning striking. It's one of the great things we have in our game is that you can achieve perfection for a moment, and then it's over. You're going to play the
double on the next hole.
Then you got to buy your friends pizza out at where did we go? We were out at Reynolds Lake at Koenig in Georgia, and that's where Matt made his ace on the preserve. And he took us out for pizza.
Which one at the preserve there?
The preserve. Oh, what hole?
Yeah.
What hole was it?
12?
No, it was on the front. It was 8.
8?
Yeah.
Oh, that's the one with the pond on the left there?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, nice ace. About 150-yard shot.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it was 160 is what I hit. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Nice. That's a good ace.
Yeah. It was the highlight of my golfing career so far.
It was our second 18 of the day. It was
and
like
everything was closed. The clubhouse was closed.
Oh,
it was awesome.
Nice.
Didn't get to celebrate too much, but
congratulations. That's a cool ace.
Thank you.
That was cool.
All right, so what sticks you playing? What's in the bag for Mr. Koenig?
I got some MP59s, Mizunos. I think the shafts are completely dead because they had them like. I'm not like an equipment
500
guy.
rounds of golf, they probably are.
Oh my! Oh, then I had them. They put them in. Those shafts are so old; they've been hot and cold for like ever. I've owned them since I've driven, all over the country, and I just never changed the shafts. But what they feel like butter when you hit them good. The heads are, they aren't going to go bad. And I put them in after I gotten a little sick of my Callaway clubs. They were just getting beat up, and I was like, these things are toast. Let me try those MP59s, and I just threw those in, and I was like, oh, they feel so good. I know how to work them really well, and I don't hit them far, but I know how far they go. And so, come on, like when we talk about distance, we're not talking about distance. We're talking about distance control. We're talking about, and if you talk to any tour player, and you tell them what do the guys that win on tour, they are masters at distance control. So if you're trying to hit your 7-iron, I don't care how far you hit it, you're trying to hit it the same distance every time. That's where you can actually get good at golf. If you hit a 7-iron 190 yards and blast over the green, like, dude, that's that's bad. You know, if you hit it anywhere
Yeah.
from 190 to 160, you have a 30-yard gap in there. Like, you're not going to
Yeah.
score. You
Yeah.
will sometimes, and you can impress your friends with some distance, but no, it's about distance
Love
control.
it.
It's hitting the same shot every time. And I got pretty good at that. I'd hit a shot and I'd be like, that's short right. Or I'd be like, oh, that's probably a little left and long. And so I kind of knew where it was going. So I got dialed, but nothing, like tour level dialed. But we play enough golf, you kind of get a feel for your game.
Totally.
What's the woods? What drivers?
Oh man. Yeah, I've got a Titleist in there. The RS2 or I don't even know.
TSR.
Yeah, the TS2, and it's I hit that thing so good. The best I've ever hit a driver. The folks at Club Champion dialed me in the Open when it was in Boston in 2022, and they put that driver in my hands. And I took it with me, and man, I think I hit 70% of the fairways, which is like tour level.
Wow. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
And that really made the game fun, because then you can appreciate you're in the spots where you should be off the tee most of the time. And you have, you still can, have the fun of recovering, because 30% you're not. But it allows you to play the golf courses they were designed. And then it just becomes a much more enjoyable game when you've got, you're enjoying it as the architect laid it out for you most of the time. Then it's fun. And you're usually around par or a challenging par every single golf hole. Yeah.
What's the flat stick?
And then I've I've got a Toulon Portland model, the flat stick, my best bud. Got that back in 2018. It was the first run of the Toulon. Somebody said and I don't know if you guys are equipment dudes, but
yeah,
I was playing with somebody and they were like, dude, you could sell that for like $3,000. I'm like, what are you talking about? It's like, I didn't even know it was that expensive of a putter. But I guess it was one of the original runs.
Pre-Callaway.
Yeah. And now they all have Odyssey on there, and mine just says Toulon. So that makes it valuable. I'm like, well, I'm not selling it. It's cool that it's got a little thing to it, but no, I think people, I know this, that people can think that they can get better by changing their equipment. And there's a little bit of that, but it all comes down to your belief in the equipment, right? And so I said, instead of just needing a new putter to believe in my putter again, I was like, I'm just going to stick with this one, and we're just going to be badasses together. We're gonna change that sort of thing. I'm not going to have doubt in my man, my guy by my side. Like, let's just go all in and just be. This is the putter for me. We're going to die together, and we're going to make a ton of putts. And I tell you, when you adopt that mental attitude, I mean, people say putting is mental, right? People, it's all here. So here's an example.
They're all laughing at me.
Listen, Matt.
This is what I did. I don't know. This is maybe like 10 years ago. I was objectively not that good of a putter, so I was just kind of okay, average. But I would let myself know that I wasn't that good of a putter. I would tell myself, the self-talk was, if you were good at putting, you do this. Like, not even just negative, but like kind of just making it reality. I was like, you know what? I know that this is all mental. I could get better if I change my mental game. So I was like, how do I go about doing that? And I was like, I came up with this plan. And I started calling myself, I was like, and I play with a lot of people. I tell this story because it works. And so I came with this thing as I started calling myself one of the top 10 ranked putters in California, according to the California putter rankings, which there are no such thing, but there is now, because I'm in the top 10. I'm like one of the highest ranked putters in California. And so I was just like, that's who I am, and that's what I'm gonna say. So like, I miss a putt, I'm like, this is odd. I have such a bad day I'm a top ranked
top
putter
10
in California. These usually go in, and then if I make one, it's like, well, I'm top 10. I'm top ranked putter.
Supposed to make that.
No surprise that went in, And so I mean, I'll let you guys guess what happened over the next couple of years. I became a very good putter, and I didn't do anything different with my stroke. Didn't change my grip. Didn't change my putter. I just changed my mind. And you could do that. Yeah. I mean, people say golf is mental. It's all mental.
It's all mental.
You can sit here on your couch and get better at golf if you're doing the mind work. You got to find a way to take it to the course too. So that was a cool thing that I did, and I hopefully have inspired some people by telling that story all over the land to come up with their own state putter rankings, and don't just, and that's, you notice it in the greats too. The greats are even delusional about their greatness. They forget anything that they didn't come in through in the clutch. Oh, that never happened. They just forget about it. Jack was one of those. There's some documented things about Jack denying things that were true just because didn't fit the plan. Didn't fit. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, he's one of the greatest. Are you the greatest? So take a page from that book.
Yeah, big time.
So what's next? How are you going to top this?
I don't know if I ever will. Which is okay. More golf and travel. I'd love to, there's some international destinations that are, making me curious. I have yet to go to Australia and New Zealand. I don't know if I'm officially well-versed, if I have yet to see Royal Melbourne and, the new Terai and Terai, and some of the courses out they've got in New Zealand that just need to be seen. So
I love how you said Terai with like hesitation because nobody else knows how to say it. But
nobody knows. It's too new. It's too new. We can say whatever we want at this point. But hey, that's part of the fun. It's like this journey never ends, and we can go all over the globe. It takes
you to some incredible places, man.
And we've got, the thing is, we started building golf courses at a mass scale in the the 20s. And we're just catching up to what's already been done. And then there's new stuff that's being built too, and there's the history, and it's just like never ending. So it's a lifelong pursuit that I've stumbled upon. And that warms my heart. It kind of gives me like a purpose, and it's like, I can do this till I'm dead, and hopefully, I don't take any of this for granted. The ability that I have to take pictures of golf courses for a living and do cool stuff like this. And this is my dream. And I'm gonna hold on as tight as I can to keep doing this. I don't need a lot in this world, but this tends to make me happy, and I feel like it's my purpose in sharing this story with and sharing golf and with others.
Love to hear that you're enjoying it, man. Because we sit there and talk every week. Like me and Dan, we're big golf trip guys, and so is Matt and Jeremy, and I can't wait to see these guys face, or Jeremy's, it's going to be his first time at Bandon in August. And I can't wait to see his face. Like that's like my whole, like, I'm super excited just to see his face when he steps on property. But me and Dan, we talk about it all the time. We'll send photos of yours or Marsh's or Golf Hawks or whoever it is. And just like, we got to get here, and it's just like, it's a never ending quest.
Well, it's funny you bring that up, is that I love to go to places with like first timers. Is it Jeremy? That was your first time?
It's going to be his first time in August.
Yeah. Dude, it's going to be so cool. I mean, because I want to go with you guys now to just
right.
Please do. Please do.
And just to be like, watch the first time you see 16 or play 16 and just your reaction, and like, it's fun to kind of like give you a little bit of, be a guide in some sense, and like give you a clue what's going on. And the newbies are always the best, and Bandon's like that. Other places kind of have that too, but the first time you see, like, it's fun to walk around Pebble Beach with somebody for the first time and watch their jaw drop and how excited they get to hit that shot on 7. And, it's just a lot of moments like that in the game that we're blessed with. Cause most places like basketball, it's like, it's a court,
same everywhere.
It's the same sort of thing. And obviously it can be different depending on the level of championship. The NBA finals is obviously a big deal and feels a little different, but like, we've got that sort of NBA finals for just everybody and everywhere. And there's all those different types of courses for different people. And it doesn't have to be Pebble Beach. I know for me growing up, it was Sycamore Hills in Fort Wayne, Indiana. That was my Pebble Beach as a kid. And that meant a lot to me when I got to see that for the first time. And so there's all these little things that can get you excited. It's just, you could talk about it forever. We could
love it.
I mean, you guys are like me.
Yeah. Okay,
So
so
good.
us being Vegas based, we got to get your favorite Vegas track.
Oh yeah, well, I'd probably drive up to. Oh well, yeah, okay. Let me think about this for a hot second. Um,
And there
I'd
are
like
wrong answers here, so
so Shadow Creek was in the driver's seat, um, and then it kind of fell off a little bit the second time I saw it because I've seen a lot of Fazio's work and it felt very familiar.
Yeah.
Um, and then I do love the energy that the wind provides because you're right next to the strip. Like you can
Yeah.
feel the heat from the town
Yeah.
right there. Paiute, the wolf course out at Paiute would probably be in there. I don't know. You counting Coyote Springs?
of
Way
Yes.
up
course.
Yes.
Yep.
Um,
That's one of our
that one
favorites.
is so good because they haven't built homes on it yet. And it's funny because I took some great photos out there, and the developers like they didn't want to share them because they don't like the look of the empty lots. And I was like, well, I think it's beautiful
Yeah.
without those
Mhm.
homes on
Really
there.
makes the course stand out.
So a little
Oh.
update for you. They in April they're gonna approve the water rights, and they might be building the next course, which is a Pete Dye Jack
Oh, they're going to build
combo.
another course there before they
They're
even build the
supposed to.
homes.
Yep. Yep.
Well,
They're supposed
that
to.
would be cool. As long as they don't put homes up there. I know that doesn't make sense from a developing standpoint, but I love that place because it's like that. And then I always tell people, I played South Shore Country Club. I thought was
Yeah. South Shore is good.
dang good. Was
Good
dang
Nicholas
good.
course.
Real good.
Yeah, and Nicholas gets a bum rap. He's got some good designs.
We have I have a buddy who used to work at the Nicholas Academies. His dad actually runs them, and he was out here in Vegas for a little while, and he said that when Nicholas built that course, he was pissed. Coyote Springs. It's angry Jack Nicklaus golf because there's not a flat lie on that golf
It'll
course.
eat you up, man.
I tend
But
to
that's
like
what makes it fun.
I tend to like the courses that are hard.
Yeah.
I mean, I never complain about it because it's golf. It's like, oh, this is really hard. So what? Who cares if it's really tough? Maybe that's why I like Pete Dye and
Yeah.
What's the hardest course you've ever played in your mind?
Ooh, Pine Valley is ball buster, man. Pine Valley is really tough, but there was never one where I thought it wasn't fair.
Yeah.
Bethpage Black is really tough. Spyglass is probably up in that conversation. There's probably a couple other that elude me, but Bethpage might be it. Bethpage. Well, the hardest course I ever played was definitely Bethpage, and we did this thing. My buddy Brody Smith. You guys might know Brody. He's
He's a disc golfer now.
disc golfer now, but when he was a golfer, we were like.
Yeah.
We were pals, and we were hitting up the YouTube stuff, and we were doing all. And so we got a tee time. We had the last tee time before the PGA Championship, a couple like 3-4 years ago when it was at Bethpage, and we're sitting there like, what should we do for the YouTube video? And I was like, well, how about we put our right foot in the rough, and with the right foot in the rough off the back tee, meaning that you're tipping it out, which we played it a couple hundred yards longer than the PGA Championship did, which was stupid. So we go back, and the rough is so long. When you take your driver back, you'd actually hit the rough. So I'm like, dude, why are we doing this? But we did it for YouTube, and it was just absolutely miserable because I hit 3-wood into, I don't know, at least a dozen of the par fours. And there's not many more than that, but it was just so brutal. It was windy and rainy, and that was definitely the hardest round of golf I've ever played. Brody would second that for sure. I didn't break. I don't think I broke 90. He might have. He was right. He can bomb it. He's a pretty phenomenal athlete.
He's powerful.
Oh, he was so good. He's just one of those athletes, and he got into golf and started playing a little bit, and he's got a tremendous following on YouTube, and so he would get invited to all these really cool things. He got invited to play in the Pro-Am at the Genesis at Riviera, and he straight up beat Jim Furyk, shot like 67 on it in the practice round.
Wow.
Obviously, the next day he shot like 79 or something, but like when he gets hot, he's really good. And
Hilarious.
I don't think Jim liked that too much.
No.
But yeah, Jim's one of the all-time greats, and that's kind of a cool thing. that's something to hang your hat on. I'm
Yeah.
constantly
Absolutely.
trying to get Brody to come back to golf. He'll come around.
He'll come back. I think he will. I think he'll get back. I mean, I think we're probably running out of time here soon, but I got a couple last quick questions for you. So,
Sure.
greatest turn shack you saw?
It's always hot dog Bills at the Olympic Club.
I was saying, yeah.
Sonny Hana's got an interesting cheese dog outside of Philly. Don't sleep on Sonny Hana. They have a great amateur tournament there. Everybody talks about. But hot dog Bills, man, the burger dog at the Olympic Club, always get 2 because 1 isn't enough.
Okay, so I
Solid advice.
was going to go into the greatest turn snack. So I guess that's hot dog Bills too.
Yeah. I'm trying to. Yep. That's the answer.
Okay. Yeah,
There's only one answer.
only one answer. Hot dog Bills. You guys got anything else? I mean, we're at 1:30 almost, and
Yeah.
it's been an absolute pleasure.
I could talk all night, but I
Yeah.
know we
Yeah.
out of respect, we'll keep it
Yeah.
at an hour and a
I'll
half.
just do this. It's like it's midnight already, but yeah, I love talking about this stuff, and so. Boy,
Are you in California now, or is that where you're based? Or
Yeah, I'm in Laguna Beach, not too far from the ocean, and boy, I'll be my next thing I'm doing a little ski trip, which is going to be a
little change of pace.
Little change of pace. Gonna mix it up a little bit.
so when's the last round you played?
Oh, it's been about a week or something. When did
Wow.
I play? Yeah, it's been a couple weeks.
Are you missing it
played-
yet?
Oh yeah, I'm
Yeah.
missing it. I played. I was just trying to get out to. I'm trying to do every golf hole on the Pacific Ocean in California, and there was one that I hadn't played, Sea Ranch Links, and I got that one. And now there's a couple holes at Sea and Air Links that I'm trying to get onto, but it's and that's it. Then I would have played every hole on the ocean in
Wow.
California. And it's a Navy place, so you can't just get on as a citizen. You have to be
Gotta
sponsored
know
by
somebody. Yeah.
an active Navy personnel.
Have
So
you
that's my next challenge.
have you played Death Valley?
I thought about going when I was in Vegas, but I haven't.
That's
What's
a
the
fun
one?
course.
The Furnace Creek or something?
Furnace Creek.
Yeah, Furnace Creek.
Furnace Creek Ranch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I almost did it. I was like, it was like a couple hour drive or something.
Yeah, I did years ago when I first started doing the breakfast ball. Me and a buddy were thinking about, hey, let's find something stupid to do, and so we went out and played as many holes as we could in July in Death Valley, and that was.
Is Furnace Creek any good? I couldn't figure it out.
It's different. It's unique because you're 200 feet below sea level, and the way Death Valley is, it's like a convection oven. And so the airflow above the trees is wild. You can play 2 holes that are back to back and have different wind over the trees on 2 holes that are similar. It's wild, but it's a fun. It's nothing that you would ever like. Hey, let's go play Death Valley today. It's just something that hey, I need to go to do this to say that I've played golf at 200 feet below sea level.
Yeah, that was my thought, and I didn't do it. I don't know if I'll get there. Maybe on 3.0 if there is one.
Well, hey, so next time you're in Vegas, hit us up. Let's go. Let's go play some golf. Yeah.
Oh, would love it. I'll definitely be back in Vegas. It's not far from here, and it's a good little desert, little vacay, an easy one that I could probably just drive out there. So I'll be back. I still got to see I haven't played the Summit Club.
Yeah. There's
Yeah,
only
awesome.
one of us on here.
Dan's played it. That's it.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
We'll figure something out. But boy, guys, thanks a lot. This was fun chasing daylight with you boys.
I love it. All right, Joe's gonna do his thing and take us home. Thanks so much, Patrick.
Yeah,
thank you,
Pat. I mean, it's been incredible, man. What a journey you went on last year, and we are big supporters of you and what you represent. We are thankful that you jumped on the podcast with us. What a great discussion. We're here every single week for you guys. Go check out Patrick Koenig. Follow him on Instagram. There might be a 3.0 coming, so make sure you tune in. Chasing Daylight podcast. We are here for you every week. Until then, Make sure you get out there and chase some daylight. Later.